Chat, here we go. Chronic and Diaz in the first semifinal of the North American Swamp. We will see if Diaz can continue to go undefeated or if Chronic will be able to take him down. Chronic's only loss so far in the Swamp, I believe, was to AJ in the Swiss. He was able to take a game off AJ, but ultimately lost the series. And now he's found himself in a semifinal against Diaz. It's a best of 7 winner. Guarantees they go away with at least $500, as well as giving themselves a chance to take it in the final. On the other side of the bracket, First Killer and AJ. It may seem like a tough task to play the winner of that game, but you never know. Chronic and Diaz both looking for a first goal. You guys might be looking at Diaz's car and thinking that he's playing with a little bit of an unorthodox car, but that has been the way he's been playing these playoffs. He played yesterday against Aegis in what you could only describe as a bit of a meme car that he randomized, but he played really, really well. He got a full sweep. At the end of the day, the results speak for themselves. Flakes would be incredibly proud to know that somebody in the North American scene is dominating using a random car, proving it truly doesn't matter. Chronic, a flip reset shot to the bottom corner, though, will score first. And this is a classic Chronic goal to start off his series. Diaz, wait, is this antenna directly on the back of the car? I see antennas so frequently, and I see this car so infrequently that I didn't realize some of the antennas were not off skew. His magic wand antenna, it looks like, directly on the back of his car. He can't get back to this one. Chronic, the long shot. I tell you what, car looks a little bit sillier getting scored on than it did when it played Aegis, and it was dominating. But of course, we're incredibly early in the series. Diaz can still bring it back. Diaz used to be known as FTM here, recently changing to what I believe is his last name, Diaz. Plays for Prestige Esports, a 3v3 team, trying to work their way up and out of the bubble and into a mainstay of RLCS. Chronic made the last regional we talked about when he played, playing with the randoms. We actually covered that on our channel. Chronic, 2-piece, and Knights playing in the RLCS, making it into top 8. An impressive performance from them. Hoping to see more of the randoms in the future, but Diaz and his funky car will get a first goal. Nice wave dash pinch in this corner and a good flip with the last bit of boost to tap this in and to break the seal in the semifinal for him. Diaz able to win the race to the midfield. He'll take to the skies. Chat, can you tell that we just went from an EU 1v1 to a North American 1v1? If you guys were interested in air dribbles, flip resets, and everything being played above the crossbar, well, I've got good news for you. That's definitely how North America likes to play, specifically Chronic, I know. Loves to play high. He'll take this one again off the side wall. No, he doesn't get anything out of it. Does demo Diaz, so he should be able to reset at midfield. Diaz trying to creep out and pick up as many pads as he can. He does get this save. Chronic looking to get a bump to try and secure it. He doesn't. This does get Diaz to flip away, give Chronic space. Now Diaz wants to close that space right away, coming all the way in to challenge in the corner. Chronic looking to intercept this from the ceiling, and he does. Nice 50 straight to the ground. Doesn't have enough boost to get a continuation, but Diaz tried to pre-flip, and now it's left the net potentially open. Chronic flicks too high, and Diaz lives to see another day in this possession. Chronic carry from the back corner. Diaz falls to the ground off of his pre-jump and intercepts Chronic's dribble as it hits the ground. Now can Diaz get a cut dribble past this? Chronic almost got it beat, but a quick double jump. He's able to intercept it. Chronic demoed off the map. This should be a tie game for Diaz, barring something truly crazy. I tell you what, we always talk about how much North America plays in the air compared to EU. Something about watching 20 some odd games from the EU region servers in a row and then transitioning to this one. The difference has never been so clear Might have to do with just how Chronic and Diaz like to play anyways. There's certainly the occasional EU player who prefers to play in the air as well. Drally, Joriez, some of those guys do it kind of the same, more North American style, you could say. And they do it really well, both with Joriez and Drally. One of the best players in the game. I think you just need to be able to cover everywhere on the field. Some of those best guys can do it all. Diaz, a flick, and a third. Diaz is going to have a lead. Chronic had the early lead, but Diaz has worked his way back. He has baited Chronic in, who tried to turn around for the fake challenge and surprised with a backflip. Was unable to do so. Chronic trying to cut around, create a dribble. He has one here. Diaz retreating with very little boost. You could tell by the way he's flipping that he had nothing but the pads he just picked up. Chronic just waited a little bit too long to shoot on his hook shot. Diaz, deep fake challenge. Chronic will go for the air dribble bump. Can Diaz avoid it? He can. Chronic fell too far away from the ball. But Chronic should be able to get another possession. Walde air dribble. Can Chronic tie it up in spectacular fashion? If there's anybody who can do it, it is Chronic. He gets the reset near the ceiling. Diaz challenges early. Chronic off the backboard. And Chronic has given you a tie game. Diaz thought he could stop it, where Chronic just reacts accordingly and takes it. Ooh, just almost gave it too much of an angle for it not to cross the goal line without bouncing, but it did. And Chronic sends it to overtime in game number 1. Diaz thought he was going to be able to get a quick game, and he still might be able to. Nice bump by Chronic. It seemed like Diaz was about to roll in an easy one off the kickoff, but no, Chronic keeps it out. Diaz on the air dribble. Stopped, but a quick flip back to the corner would prevent Chronic from getting that boost had it spawned, but it still had a few more seconds either way. Chronic playing with one pad, trying to be very careful. This does have a bit of an awkward dribble here, and Chronic sees the opportunity to challenge, and he does. He's not going to be able to gain possession, but he will use this as an opportunity to steal Diaz's back corner boost. 2 backflips in a row, trying to gain possession. A touch the wrong way, and he's panicking a little bit. Diaz, the long shot, and a game win. Chronic wanted to create an air dribble out of it, and he couldn't. Diaz wasn't really showing too much in terms of a challenge. Chronic was still worried about it. And although he clutched it to force overtime, Diaz takes it and goes up 1-0. Game number 2. Chronic, spectacular finish, just not enough. Diaz, he is in. Oh, shoot. The Gizmo, yes. I was like, this one is actually one of the ones I know the name of. The Gizmo, a bit of a history on the Feer channel. Gino, a 1v1er of old, used to bring out the Gizmo when he needed to dominate. Diaz, I'm sure, just hit the random button and happened to get the Gizmo. I believe Diaz is streaming right now. At least he has been before. He's Diaz_RLI. I know that might make it hard to find him, but you can try and find him. Apparently, he was singing during his quarterfinal on his way to victory. I don't know if he's singing today. I don't know if Chronic is going to be able to force him to take it a little bit more, not necessarily seriously, because as long as Diaz is winning, then he's doing the right thing. So he's taking it exactly how he should. Chronic trying to dunk in a quick goal, not able to. So Diaz is going to have space. Big challenge from Chronic, I think, did result in Diaz looking to try and flick early, ultimately losing possession. Diaz high bounce to the midfield. He's just going to take an early shot. It's going to be easy to save. It's not about the first shot, it's about the continuation. Diaz, nice flick. Inside the net, a first. I assume because Reed just linked his Twitch chat that he must actually be live. Nice top hat on the Gizmo. I'm just glad that he isn't, or his randomization hasn't given him incredibly annoying engine sounds, or he's also just using Alpha Boost, which helps because he had some annoying sounding cars last time. It must have annoyed him too, so he doesn't even want to deal with it anymore. Chronic starting a dribble. Challenged really early by Diaz. Now Diaz going to have tons of space. What's he going to do with it here? Tries to start a dribble, but strong first touch. Chronic is able to intercept, and Chronic is kind of freestyling around the map right now. Great handling of the bump. Almost created an opportunity. Diaz is playing solid. Chronic cannot slot it inside the far corner. Diaz, a challenge, but never really planned on making an attempt at the ball. Chronic trying to get a double, not going to be able to. These guys will reset on boost, and Diaz will start a dribble. Super early flick. Might have just lost in possession. Chronic. Soft flick. Not a bad result for what was a fast dribble. Just keep Diaz on the ropes. Steal the boost. He's able to get the midfield as well. Diaz will be able to reset. This is where Chronic wants the ball. He feels best in this situation. He's got an air dribble, flip reset. I think he saw Diaz coming, and an early challenge. He uses what was, I guess, a second flip. And he's able to get it past Diaz, but ultimately not score. Diaz, man, he's just going to be playing this ground game and doing well with it. These little flicks, perfectly timed, are making Chronic miss and giving him goals. Chronic needs to be playing the challenge game just a little bit better, whether that means not coming to challenge early, trying to play more on the goal line, or just timing the challenges better. Maybe throwing in some fakes as well. Nice kickoff. Can always erase a little mistake. Keep your head right back in it. Diaz, another kickoff loss. Chronic might be able to turn in for a goal. Looks to place it far post. Diaz gets the save. Chronic, air dribble, flip reset. He does it like it's a layup. Diaz is able to get the save, though. Chronic from the ceiling. Good first touch. The second. Can't get there. Otherwise, he would have been able to get over the top. Diaz has been completely starved out. Chronic has done a good job of ensuring that. He's going to try and bump Diaz here, but Diaz knows it, and he flips intentionally into the bump. He knows he's not going to be able to avoid it, so instead, he just tries to fight back, and I'd say he successfully did. Diaz trying to dribble this past Chronic, didn't succeed, but is able to recover. Stop Chronic's shot. Now Chronic in the air. Diaz has been super pre-jumping them off the ceiling. And it's been working well for him, at least the past couple times. First time, of course, we saw Chronic able to tie it up at 0 seconds. Bit of a low-scoring battle between these two. Chronic is going to take an immediate shot despite no boost. He didn't want to let that continue to bounce in his half. This is a nice interception. Maybe a goal if Chronic can get a good shot, and he does. 3-2. Chronic with the lead with 45 to go. Chronic chip from the side wall. His flip reset leads to nothing. Diaz wall to air dribble. Can he make anything out of this? No. In fact, he's going to make a goal the other way out of it. Chronic doesn't really need to do much to challenge this and take it to the other side of the field. Chronic loses his kickoff, but able to maintain possession, and that's all that should really matter. 10 seconds left to go. Chronic looking to tie up this series. Diaz hadn't lost the game in the playoffs yet, but he will lose his first here. Going to give us a cool shot for the road in this gizmo. I imagine we're going to see yet another new car for Diaz. GG from both these guys. So we're all tied up, headed into game number 3. Game number 3. Diaz in a brand new car. Chat, you know I always need your help. What is this one? Did he play with that? Wait, he played this one. Did he play this one yesterday, chat? I need to know what the name of the car is. Chronic carry from the corner. It's saved. The R3 MX GXT. Dude, I love chat. Chat always knows. You couldn't, like, I wouldn't even know in the realm of what car this is. But chat is always aware and always agrees. It is apparently the R3 MX GXT. Chronic tap over Diaz, who is making a bit of a dangerous challenge in the corner. Diaz has kind of been playing a little bit like a madman all series long, and it does create opportunities like this, where all of a sudden, you can take a shot on net from just constantly wave dashing and turning back into the play. Chronic. Kickoff shots, trying to force Diaz to make a couple tough saves in a row, and Chronic couldn't finish it off. So he flips back. What a pinch. Chronic will immediately stop it. Now he's got an on-car dribble. Diaz, is he backwards challenging there? I can't even look at that car. Like, I don't understand which way it's facing. Yeah, he was backwards challenging. Okay, he power slid into a backwards challenge. Chronic able to tap the ball to the sidewall while using the flip to pick up the boost. He's gotten both his own back corners, so he should get himself some open space. Soft flick, just trying to start the offensive stand, but Diaz ends it quickly. The great wave dash, and actually, what's in midfield to steal the boost? Okay, we are in a full-on counterclockwise loop. Can Diaz break us from it? Looks like he will as Chronic goes flying underneath the ball, and Diaz will get a second. Let's watch this from Chronic's perspective. Thought he had a chance to get here. Man, does that pop high. Chronic losing a direct kickoff. I think this should be a goal. Actually, good reflip to get back to it. Able to just mix up the play, not make it simple. But Diaz is not going to score because, oh, yes, he does. Wow. He made it really, really hard, though. It should have been easy, but ultimately, he just wanted to impress the chat by getting a really tight angle doomsy. (3-1). An early lead. This seems like it's going to be more higher scoring 1v1 than we saw from these two in the past. I want to say the last game ended something like 4-2, and we're already at 3-1. With half the game left to go. Diaz trying to get a late 50, and Chronic is able to 50 it to the back wall. Diaz is going to have to restart. He's got no boost, and for some reason, he's tapping it high to the back wall. Try and see what he can do with it. Pop to the midfield. Chronic has to use a flick to get power because he has no boost to get a strong power shot. Oh, Chronic trying to take it to the midfield, but instead dropping it for a pass. Diaz will gladly accept the pass and go up 4-1. Chronic knew right away. You can see right as he was hitting the ground, doing his best to jump up and get back into play. Chronic, flip reset, taking it to the ground this time. And he has earned the rights. He has destroyed in the air, and Diaz knows it. So he comes to try and meet him. And the wave dash to roll it low. Chronic gets a second. We are at the scoreline of the previous game. 2 minutes left to go. Chronic looking to bring the pressure, but won't go all the way into the corner. Diaz maybe left a window open. Chronic, nice scoop, but still goes too high. Got to pull back those flicks as best as you possibly can to not get too much power. Chronic, it is so fun to watch him. It's fun for us. I'll tell you who it's not for. Fun for, and that is Diaz. Watching from his perspective, he sees Chronic at the reset, and he just knows there's not a good chance for him to get a save. Even though he stayed pretty low until late, still Chronic is able to squeeze it past him without using the reset and going low. Chronic going to look for a demo potentially, and Diaz knows it. So he pre-jumps in the corner. Unable to fake Chronic off the ball. A bunch of different fake challenges made Chronic mix up his play, but ultimately still getting a strong flick. Now he's sent back out to midfield. Diaz on his path through the pads. Picks up enough to challenge, but he's still going to be recovering late. Can Chronic put a good enough shot on? He actually places it right to where Diaz came off the back wall. Great defense by Diaz to stay in this one. Chronic looking to tie the game. The angle is really awkward. Chronic unable to bump Diaz. And so now he's going to be in a tough spot. As Diaz flicks early, Chronic has really wanted to early challenge in basically every situation. But Diaz has been ready for it. As soon as he gains control, he is throwing a flick. That is exposing Chronic. But to be fair, in Chronic's situation, watching that from his perspective, might not have had much of a chance if he didn't early challenge. Diaz's flick was solid and launched it past a potential retreat from Chronic. Now Diaz touch to the side wall. Chronic getting it right where he wants it. Diaz a bit of a fake challenge high, but ultimately coming back down to the ground. Chronic's wave dash is saved. He's going to need 2 in 40 seconds. And he likes to get him in spectacular fashion, trying to put a show on for the chat, but this time the air dribble is stopped. Back to his own corner. Not going to start the dribble from here. Diaz, what is he doing? He's actually, yeah, for a second, if he had 200 boost, then maybe it was okay. He came so deep, and he got Chronic to play it fast, but, you know, maybe if he had even more boost right here, he would have been able to get back and clear it away. But no, he gives Chronic a fairly easy one. Chronic did not have to work for it. Now can Chronic get a kickoff goal? Diaz is going to fake and not get this first touch, so instead he'll get the first possession, but he doesn't have boost, and his flick is nowhere near the net. So Chronic just resets, grabs 100, and now he's got all the space in front of him. Legal air dribble bump. He's going to pop it over the top of Diaz, who comes to early challenge, and Chronic ties it up with 3 seconds left to go. Still enough time to end it in regulation for either one of these guys. Diaz had the lead, and Chronic's the one who's been having to work it back, so you could argue momentum in his favor. A very crucial moment. Will either of these guys mix up the kickoff at all? No. Diaz winning a standard kickoff to the side wall. He's got a dribble. He's going to need a reset to bring it back to the net. Nice wave dash. Chronic will tap it to the ground. So we are right back to where we were before. Another overtime and a kickoff. Diaz. Ball to air dribble. No. He'll tap it back down to the ground. His flick. His backflip touch, I should say. Far away from the net. And Chronic, this 50. He doesn't quite have enough boost to capitalize and shoot before Diaz can recover. But now Diaz turning around midfield. Low boost. The cut from Chronic. And Chronic will take the 2-1 lead in the series. Chronic staying in this game constantly, not giving up despite needing some last-second goals. He does it, and he takes it in overtime. And he will take the series lead as we head 2-1 in what is a long best of 7. What car are we going to see from Diaz, chat? Oh, have you ever heard of this car? Just kidding, chat. I know what this one is. A Dominus. I guess it's possible to get one of the more conventional cars when you hit random. Diaz is going to play the Dominus, but with a fruit bowl on his head. He will score first. Diaz, I'm pretty sure, is very intentionally rebranding away from FTM here instead to Diaz. So I will continue to call him Diaz. He used to be named FTM here, in case you guys remember who that was. Chronic exposed as he swings around on his side of the field. Leaves the net open. And Diaz will take his chance. It's interesting to think, and for some reason, it becomes more obvious to me when Diaz plays the Dominus. So whenever someone's playing just a completely random car, I don't know, I don't think about the hitbox, and I don't think about how they play that differently, because I know they're so different, it just almost isn't even important. Chronic, nice air dribbles. Bump from Diaz, though, might be enough to stop him from scoring. We shall see, and it won't be. But when Diaz picks a Dominus, which is a car that tons of people use on purpose instead of just hitting random, and it plays so differently when it comes to flicks and all of its different kind of touches. It's that moment when I realize how interesting it is that Diaz is electing to play with a different car every single time. Because the Dominus, you know, it doesn't flick. It doesn't play the exact same way as a different hitbox. But Diaz agrees with Flakes. It doesn't matter. I can play in any car. And maybe it keeps his mentality solid, especially considering he now has to come from behind. Chronic unable to pick up his own back corner. Diaz dribble to the top left. He's got himself an early lead. Chronic says he's awk. It's 4-1 in favor of Diaz. All of a sudden, these guys are scoring like crazy. Chronic knows all about the Dominus. That's true. Chronic frequently plays ones in the Dominus. I don't think he's played any Dominus this tournament, though. I think he's been all Octane in this tournament. Air dribble from Chronic all the way from the back corner. Chronic doesn't even need to use it. He's got Diaz in the air, so he'll just catch it on the ground, tap it in. Diaz always making sure to switch Alpha Boost back on, though, no matter what car he ends up with. Chronic is flicked to the far post, saved, but a nice pinch high. Diaz without the boost to really make a play, but Chronic, the 10-cent finish, can't really create something out of what was a decent setup. Chronic almost found himself on the wrong side of the ball. With zero boost, you don't want to drive yourself too far away from the play like that without making a touch. He was almost left exposed. No, Diaz, you had an open net. Diaz couldn't get the flip. I swear it was not that hard to hit. Diaz made it look hard, though. Maybe I was wrong. Diaz dodging Chronic, who was looking to demo him on the sidewall. A long clear. Chronic, he loves this dribble. Diaz is going to come from the ceiling, so Chronic shoots early, and that goes right into Diaz's high challenge. Diaz is high challenged in multiple ways. Sometimes directly at Chronic, trying to get to the ball early. Sometimes heading back to net. That time, Chronic was expecting Diaz to come off the ceiling and directly towards the play, which is what an early touch would do a great job of countering. But Diaz instead just falling off the ceiling almost towards the net, which ends up being the perfect save for an early touch from Chronic. Chronic just trying to get a possession going here. This is the same position he said he was awk from earlier. But finally, he gets his opportunity to shoot that he's been waiting for. And Diaz own goals. You love to see it. You always need an own goal in a nice competitive series. And this shot was off the post and out, but Diaz gives it a little bit of love. Tried to reverse away from it, but he couldn't. Chronic working his way back. Either one of these guys scoring too terribly much that either one couldn't just find a way back into every game. Chronic flip reset. This time he tries to put it high. Diaz waiting long to challenge, and Chronic didn't get the fastest recovery, and Diaz didn't get the best shot. So it won't be a goal. Diaz definitely needs to be able to capitalize on every time Chronic makes a mistake in the air, because he is going to only do that ever so often. That's basically the only way to make Chronic not win a game when he's on his aerial game, is every so often when he doesn't connect, have to secure a goal. But since he didn't, Chronic's still going to feel comfortable going for aerials all game long. It's a nice bump. Diaz should be able to pass it to himself and get a fifth. This time he doesn't miss. He's got a 2-goal lead once again. Diaz. Nice kickoff win for a wall to air dribble. Will Chronic re-jump him? He will, and he can't get to it. Diaz can't double it! Diaz definitely should have been able to. He just didn't get the right spin to get the final touch. So now, Chronic once again kept in this game. Diaz, that was such a deep challenge to not touch the ball. Chronic could have just launched it in the open net, which is what he kind of tried to do. Just missed a little bit wide. Diaz ball dashing down the field, resulting in him just completely leaving the play. Chronic sees the early challenge coming, tries to low 50, but is unable to. Diaz, a nice little 360, dodging the demo, and then tapping in a goal. He knows Chronic is coming behind him, so he jumps over the top and 360s into the wave dash. The chip will give him a 3-goal lead. Diaz, another first possession. Chronic tries to cut in field. Man, Diaz has had so many of these moments now. where it just takes a little bit of execution error to not secure it. And he's unable to do so. Chronic out to midfield. Diaz luckily missed the corner boost, and Diaz just kind of owned gold. He didn't know he was own goaling because he didn't know Chronic was going to flip into him and stop his momentum. Diaz, a great half flip, set up the pass. 30 seconds, and we saw Chronic do it before, eventually getting the Game 3 win. Can he do it twice in a row? He's got himself a possession. And a high bounce. Chronic loves to be in this spot. Gets the reset, uses it, demos Diaz, but only after the save. So will there be enough time for Chronic to have 2 chances again? Once again, takes to the skies. Every time he has the ball in open space, Chronic is going to prefer the aerial. And this time he does get Diaz to miss. Free jump in the touch, but Chronic pulls off of it and taps it low. 12 seconds. Will Diaz fake the kickoff, delay it, change it up at all? Does he trust in his abilities? He goes standard kickoff. Chronic is going to get the midfield boost, but won't be able to get back to the possession. Gives a little bit of pressure, so Diaz gets rid of the ball. That's going to be a really hard time for Chronic. Yeah, in fact, Diaz will just bump him around, let it hit the ground, and secure game number 4. So it'll be one last best of 3 between Diaz and Chronic to decide who goes to the final. Chat, what car are we going to see from Diaz? If somebody can guess it, we'll gift you a sub. Merc, Octane, Aftershock, Roadhog, Gizmo, Backfire. Mods, tell me if somebody gets it right. Because there's definitely enough people to guess all the cars. What is it, chat? Who had the Paladin? Somebody had to have the Paladin. It might be hard work, but if mods can find the first person to say Paladin, I will gift that person a sub. All right, game number 5. I think, wait, some people might be cheating. Whatever, I don't care. Maybe you guys were cheating. Maybe you had Diaz stream open. But hey, that's just the hustle. The hustle and grustle from whoever had both streams open. And just type Paladin in quicker. Chronic scoring first in game number 5 and trying to sneak in the dribble low after he saw Diaz going high up on the wall. Chronic gets his dribble saved away. And now the hook shot, the fake, and he goes low. Underneath. Nice setup, though. Diaz now has a little bit of an annoying engine noise. At least he always changes his boost to alpha boost. Chronic looking to get another early goal. At least he's forced Diaz into the net. Diaz does have time to creep out, grab the corner. Chronic, a good fake. He has been faking Diaz well, but Diaz, his single jump, covers the angles. He's able to get the clear. Now he launches this downfield. Buys himself time to grab some boost and maybe even put some pressure on. Chronic, nice dodge of the sweeping demo attempt from Diaz. Now Diaz back to net. Chronic, will he fake again? No, this time goes for the breezy, but has to pull off of it. He is too good at those. If he lets it roam free, he'll boom it to the top backboard. And Diaz, his fake gets perfectly read. Chronic didn't believe for a second that he was going to flick. And takes it right away from him. You know what? Chronic maybe did believe for a second he was going to flick. I see that pre-jump from Chronic, but then he noticed Diaz was waiting, so diagonal flipped back into the ball. Chronic, no way he's going to be able to get a shot at him off this, and I feel like he realized eventually. So he goes back to midfield, although he did entertain the idea of playing a close defense there. Chronic has to be careful in this situation. E5 boost, Diaz has a ton. There's frequently opportunities to break away and take it the other way before Chronic can get back, but did well to force it to the wall and delay Diaz's attack. Now Chronic in the dribble. Flip reset right at the center field. The wave dash, the bump. Chronic, the 4th. Chat, I'm going to let mods decide. Obviously, while I'm streaming, I can't go back to see who said Paladin first. But if a mod tells me a certain person got it first, then that's who's going to get this up. Diaz ahead of Chronic. Able to start a dribble off the wall, but Chronic will just wait because Diaz kind of telegraphing that he was going to make his play before reaching the net, which means Chronic should have no trouble saving it. He's got a high dribble here. This time he does use the flip. He ends up pushing it right to the defender. Nice demo. Chronic is going to take this to the skies. He cannot pass up a dribble like this. Although he did not have a great setup. Over the top of the ball, all he could really use the flip for was to not get counterattacked. Both these guys taking the dribbles every single time they have the opportunity, which is just such a stark difference from the EU series we were watching before, which involved nobody taking it into the air unless they were forced to. Chronic, a fifth. This is the first game that either one of these guys has gotten a serious lead and made it look like they're a shoe-in to win the game. Still tons of time, though. Maybe Diaz can shake off the Paladin. Has obviously not been working for him. We're not going to see him in the Paladin next game, but I also think even if he won, we weren't going to see him in the Paladin again next game. Chronic, a little fake boost right there, making it look like he's going to go for the immediate power shot on the bounce. Just a little bit added extra to make sure Diaz stays shadowing, stays guessing. Instead, lets it bounce. It goes for the air roll shot high. Diaz way to kill the momentum there to keep it in the corner and earn himself a dribble. High pop, just a double jump. It wasn't even a flick, but his air roll kind of flicked the ball a little bit higher than he probably would have liked because he ended up tapping it off the back wall. Chronic, a seventh, and this one really feels like Chronic is going to win. You never know. Question is, are we also seeing the momentum shift for the rest of the series? Or will Diaz be able to bounce back the next game, assuming he's unable to do so in this one? Diaz, another flick too high. Just cannot seem to find the goal. Diaz get a 360 and a nice shot earlier, but he used it to avoid the demo. Chronic is just going to put on a freestyle show for us now. Diaz is going to keep giving him free opportunities. Chronic is not one to just slam in boring goals forever. He will try and get a clip for you. Chronic pre-jump, convincing Diaz to take it to the ground. At this point, it feels like these two are just waiting a minute to find out. Yeah, let's see, I told you. Chronic is not just going to take boring goals anymore. He knows he's won this game. He can feel it. So instead, he'll take it around the map. Diaz is switching cars. So Chronic gets 30 seconds of an opportunity to show us a sick shot. Game number 5 will go to Chronic. Diaz workshopping the next one. Paladin didn't score a single goal. Cannot imagine he sticks with Paladin. Imagine all of a sudden back against the wall he comes out Stocktane. All right, here we go. What are we thinking? Quad, Chronic? No, ceiling reset. Nothing. We saw CR get a triple flip reset with the defender. Almost own goaling. GG. Chronic, game number 5. 3-2, 1 game more. And Chronic sends himself to the grand final. My party got destroyed, but I would like to rejoin my party. Thank you. Chat, what is this one? Quick. Is this the grog? I don't know, chat. I'll be honest. I can't say. Oh, Marauder. Yeah, the Marauder. Wait, isn't the grog kind of similar? I don't know, but this is the Marauder. The Marauder for Diaz. With his back against the wall, he needs 2 game wins in a row to stay in this tournament. Otherwise, going home tied for 3rd, at least getting a little bit of prize pool. Chronic is going to start with a flip reset shot into the top left corner, and he's so good at them that I'm sure somebody who just tuned in for the first time in chat says, "What? Why didn't Feer go crazy over that shot?" Sorry, Chronic is doing these shots regularly. Kind of expect it from him now. I didn't skip that replay. Or sorry, I did skip that replay. Those guys were wanting to watch that kickoff goal all the way to the end. Chronic up 2-0. Keeping up right where he left off in the last game. Diaz able to challenge this one early. Chronic having a hard time corralling the ball and getting into the shot. So now Diaz on an open net. The Marauder will score a goal. The Paladin couldn't, but the Marauder can. Diaz losing this kickoff into the corner. Quote unquote losing, we say, but at the end of the day, has possession, has boost. Can't get much better than that. A great flick. Chronic able to save it, though. A lot of power coming from the Marauder. He's got the show me what you got guy on top of his head, right? Isn't that what that guy is? He is trying to show us what he got in this game number 6. And Diaz will get a second tap past Chronic into the corner. Chronic thought he had this midfield challenge, but he got there late. Chronic maybe hearing Diaz flip. Thought he was coming to challenge, but he wasn't. He was headed back into his own half. So Chronic need not panic. But that being said, still had tons of time. Diaz, nice angle, and actually Chronic couldn't get the save. I think if the post wasn't in his way, he might have been able to fly enough in net to get the angle on the air roll shot to get the save. But the net just moved him a little bit to make it so he couldn't get the proper touch. Marauder taking the lead. Would we possibly see Diaz stick with the card twice in a row if it got him a win? Certainly not, but maybe for Game 7. Chronic. Nice 50. You can see the whole way Diaz coming to challenge. Just waits patiently. Gets his single jump. Points his car right to center mass. Covers the 50. Now Diaz into the corner. He's going to be able to take the boost. The high bounce will go right into Chronic's hands. He's going to try and make a play. The very little that he does have. 360. Diaz does not want to challenge the ball, but he does eventually get the save. The slow enough rolling shot does not make it in before Diaz gets back in the way of it. Chronic, the backflip challenge, low 50 is enough to squeeze it out of a shooting angle. So Diaz trying to reset here, and he just passes the ball to Chronic. He wanted to hold on to possession, but instead he gives it away to Chronic. Chronic. Wall to air dribble set up on the kickoff. Can he give the fans what they want? Hard first touch to the right side of the field. Means he has to use the flip reset just to get it back at all. Which also means an easy read for the defender. Diaz. Takeaway is too strong. The bounce too far out to midfield before he can get back to it. Now can Diaz make something happen? A nice shot and a double! Diaz, a fourth! He wants to put some mechanics on display as well. The Marauder, it's just too good. As he gets this flip reset and double with Chronic. It looked like it was headed crossbar down. Chronic tried to clear it away, but no. Marauder Diaz dunks it right back in. Chronic looking to set up an aerial play from the corner like he so frequently does. Diaz kind of pre-jumping it. Able to stop him, but he's not able to get this pinch on the wall. Not a great first touch from Chronic. I think he was trying to start a carry. They didn't get underneath it and just tapped it away from himself. Oh, Diaz on a breakaway. Chronic has to panic a bit here, but he does well to do so. Get back in front of the ball. Chip to himself off the wall. He thinks he can catch Diaz. Not in net. Diaz recognizes and cuts off the shot early. Now Diaz is going to be given space. Chronic to midfield. Diaz will take it right down onto the show me what you got guy. show me what you got guy does not help him out in flicking past Chronic. Diaz, nice pre-flip. Potentially get a quick touch, but he doesn't get it. He does get a demo. That'll be 5-3. Diaz wants game 7. And I'm sure the fans want to see it as well. Chronic not taking this to the back corner, instead turning it straight towards Diaz. He does need a quick goal, and this absolutely should be one. I don't think Diaz needed to let it be one, but for some reason he did. Not only does he go out to midfield, he turns upfield to grab the boost. Just never going to be able to make it back when doing something like that. Makes it much easier for Chronic to bring it within 1. Chronic cannot get the chip to start the wall to air dribble, but he actually baits Diaz in for the 50. Nice recovery from Diaz to clear it away to the side wall. Chronic, another opportunity in the air. Diaz goes early. Chronic adjusts and ties the game. Bringing it back. Chronic has the read on these late game early challenges from Diaz. This is not the first time that exact same play happened. Chronic takes it up the side wall. Diaz doesn't want to get clipped on. Tries to challenge early, but it doesn't work. Chronic now with the possession back into his back corner. He's going to take it across his net. Looking for a wall to air dribble. Diaz just used a lot of boost to try and get a demo and not get it, which means he's going to be recovering late. Chronic, a strong touch. The flip reset, the catch. Diaz with the save at first. Chronic get it past no. Diaz has had great recoveries all series long. That's not going to change here in the final moments of game number 6. Chronic has a huge boost advantage, though. Not a great first touch. Have to imagine we'll probably see... I'm not going to say anything. Diaz's long shot could end it. No, we will see overtime. Overtime in game number 6. A crucial kickoff. Diaz trying to stay alive. Chronic wants to earn a ticket to the grand finals for a chance to play first killer or AJ. This shot is saved by Diaz. He's not able to get his own corner boost, but he does bump Chronic. He won't win the race. Oh, he will win the race to the corner. I thought Chronic would be able to beat him. But no, Diaz in the air. Chronic pre-jump challenge. Sends it to the back wall and does cut off any angle for Diaz. But doesn't end his offensive possession. Chronic only has 20. He's got to use it to get high on this one and tap it to the side wall. So now he's going to be playing with almost nothing. Diaz tries to cut it, and he goes over the top of Chronic, forces him to not be able to jump and get the save. And Diaz sends it to game 7 in spectacular fashion. Look at that bump. It's not a bump, but Chronic knows that if he tried to jump and get the save, it would be a bump. So he just turns away and gives credit where credit is due. El Car, he says, even though Diaz got the win. Game 7 in Chronic versus Diaz. This is what Diaz is going with for game 7. Chat, you know I don't know what these cars are, so you're going to have to explain it to me. It kind of looks like one of the original cars, but I don't think it is. Wait, is it the hot shot? I think it looks like the hot shot, but I don't think it is the hot shot. Is it? Maybe because it has that decal on it, I don't recognize it. Chat, Diaz is going to go up early. Chronic unable to connect on his aerial play to start the game. Chronic has stuck to not exactly his stock tane. This red is not stock, so we did have to change it slightly. Just picked a different color. Diaz, man. Relying on the wizard hat to get him the final win. Is that flag? I don't know that. I'm not going to try and guess flags. Chronic, that's a great flick. But it's saved away. Diaz, early challenge. Chronic gets the 50, and the ball not high enough to not be shootable. It does come down. Chronic finds the angle. That's the Scarab engine sound? I wouldn't even know, but I trust you, chat. Diaz, can he meme car his way to a grand final? Chronic, that's a good own goal. Tough spot for Chronic. We'll make him watch it. He throws it no problem. He might be scored on a kickoff goal here, so he's got to do his best to try and redirect it. He almost did. Just goes crossbar, post, and in. Chronic losing the kickoff, but gaining control. Chronic demoing Diaz. Can he get a quick enough shot? He can't. He wanted to chip that. Wait a second. Scooping this. The double. Chronic! I should not try and understand what Chronic is going for. He falls from the ceiling and uses his flip late and goes for the double as Diaz cannot get up to save the top left corner. A peek, says Diaz. You know it. I know. They both know that that was a peak play from Chronic, but honestly, those who have watched Chronic over the years know that was actually far from a peak. Chronic can do that with regularity. Diaz a demo. He's got himself some open field. Air dribble bump. He does connect with Chronic. And Diaz able to get a third. This has been one of the least talkative series from Chronic in his entire career on stream. Normally, pretty decent quick chatter, or not necessarily quick chatter. He actually doesn't really quick chat. I think he usually just types. He's a typer. But not this time around. Nice little wave dash to create an opportunity. Diaz was trying to go steal the midfield boost. Diaz tap to the side wall. Chronic. Can he gain control? Nice challenge. And might have a long shot opportunity because Diaz is kind of hanging out a little bit too long. Chronic doesn't score on the first, but he does on the second. And now Chronic with the lead. Diaz, very interesting decision to turn away to the corner. When he saw, I mean, we just watched it from his perspective. He saw the ball getting slammed to his back wall. He had to have expected a pretty quick double from Chronic. He still thought it was worth it. Take a trip to the corner boost. Chronic, the reset. This time he doesn't use it until he hits the ground, that is. And he wave dashes it right to the bottom right corner. If you're Diaz, it's hard not to get up in the air for a guy who can hit him with ease. Chronic, another kickoff possession. He's going to prioritize getting the boost over getting the first touch. And he is like a madman. Wall dashes around the back wall. Couldn't get the demo, so now Chronic with open space. He's going to take a left to right dribble, threatening the hook shot. And he makes it look not easy because he missed. So certainly not easy. That's not what I was going to say. Makes it look a little bit tough as he does get it past Diaz, but Diaz ultimately comes back and makes a challenge and takes it away. Diaz looking to maintain possession after a setup he didn't like in Chronic's corner. Chronic tap off the back wall, hoping to clear it away, but I think Diaz corrals it. Chronic challenge early here. No, he'll flip away. So Diaz up for an air dribble bump. Chronic, can he get over the top of it? He can. Now Chronic resets with boost, and Diaz retreats as these two trade air dribble bump attempts with each other. This time Diaz won't let it start. So Chronic, wall to air dribble. This is Chronic's bread and butter. This time he tries to go low 50. Diaz is able to keep it out. Important boost grab for the midfield for Diaz. Not necessarily to starve Chronic out, who did have 53, but just to make sure that he could stay in the play defensively. Chronic has been a real pest here on the goal line. Every time it seems like Diaz is about to get control, Chronic there to challenge, or there to fake challenge to throw Diaz off his game. Another good avoidance of a bump by Diaz. He does not want to take a shot. He wants to just bump Chronic out of the net, and he hasn't been able to do so. Chronic has been avoiding it well, and he earns himself a goal. 6-3. A minute left to go. Back in an attempt to be the cringiest early GG. Throws his GGs. Will he be right? Everyone knows the earlier you say GG, the smarter you are. But there is definitely still a time for Diaz to come back. Diaz able to dodge a bump attempt. Chronic has still been dictating the play in the final minute. Chronic, can he keep the pressure on and never let Diaz get into offense? This could be a game-ending shot if he makes it, but he didn't. Diaz now has 100 boost. Chronic's going to set up a takeaway. Diaz needs to hit this shot in. He's going to play from the ceiling. That touch won't do it. That touch might just be the actual end of the game. It was still possible for Diaz, but now with every second winding down, it's becoming more of a dream. I think we're going to see Chronic headed to the finals. A good performance from Diaz, playing in 7 different cars in 7 different games. But the Stocktane comes out on top today as Chronic guarantees a grand final position.